Welcome back. If you didn't catch the first part of the show, you missed out on some interesting material. But don't fear, the next part is even better.
Coming up shortly, an interview with author Colin White about his influences and interests in literature. And of course, World Book Day. But first, let's join our in-house book reviewer for his World Book Day choice.
Hello, my name is Richard Pisey. I'm a first year video and broadcast student at Portsmouth University, and I would like to talk to you about one of my favourite books, Only Forward by Michael Marshall Smith. Only Forward is a darkly comic novel set in a very strange future where the entire country is one massive city split into different neighbourhoods. Each neighbourhood has a different theme, whether it be colour, crime, business, technology, etc, etc. The story focuses on Stark, a private detective in the city who's been hired to find a missing person. He's a very dark and melancholy character, but also very funny to read about. Basically, he's been hired to find a missing person, and it ends up taking him through this big journey through all the different parts of the city, all the different neighbourhoods, including some of the more criminally orientated parts. The main theme of the book is dreams, and more particularly dream world, the place where people supposedly go when they're asleep. And one of my favourite parts of the book is Stark and his companions standing on a shore, having drained all of the water from the ocean in order to gain access to this world. Very, very powerful bit of writing. I would personally recommend this book to absolutely anyone with a good imagination. It's an absolutely fantastic read. You will not be able to put it down once you pick it up. Just if you get an opportunity to, check it out.
Thanks for that, Pisey. I'll make sure to check that out myself. Now let's have a look at my interview with author Colin White earlier today. Don't go away. And with me now today is Colin White, lecturer at Portsmouth University and an author. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Tim.
It's nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us in the studio.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background in writing.
Okay, well, I've been interested in media from my student days. So I started off as a DJ on local radio station, and I suppose I developed my writing interest rather later on. I did enjoy doing a lot of radio work, and when I came here at the University of Portsmouth 25 years ago, then I wrote a novel, which, although had a great deal of interest from 2 or 3 publishers, in the end none of them bit the bullet. That was a novel about computer hacking, because obviously I've got an interest in science as well as other areas. Some very nice ideas in there, but one thing I didn't realise when I wrote that novel is that novels of that nature, anything involving computers, tend to have a very short sell-by date. So very quickly after I'd written it, some of the very innovative ideas were everyday run-of-the-mill ideas, and nobody would think, wow, when they're read it anymore. So, but I still want to take some of the ideas from that and maybe rewrite that novel. I suppose the final thing I've done is an academic maths and science and sports book, which is going to be published this September. What
influenced you to be a writer? So, was it a thing since your childhood? If I asked you when you were 13, for instance, would you go?
No, I didn't really enjoy writing either as a child or even going through university. I think one of the things, I was very interested in media, I'm very interested in presenting and things like that. Done 1 or 2 things on local television, for instance. Always been interested in that. I think what actually interests me, if I really think about it sort of carefully, is I enjoy trying to explain possibly quite complex ideas to other people. And obviously that's why I'm a lecturer, and that's what lecturing involves. But also, if you're writing something like a computer hacking novel, hopefully part of that is a learning process for the reader as well. So you explain, it's like this idea, I think, of explaining things to people in a manner that a large number of people would understand.
Yeah. And what sort of advice would you give to up-and-coming budding authors, so to speak?
Shift F7. Sorry, that's you probably know in Word. Shift F7 gives you the visuals. I tell you, I don't find writing easy. Blood and Stone sort of comes to mind. Sometimes, I mean, the dream of being able to write well is for it all to flow, and you've suddenly written 3 pages and you don't even know you've written it, and time has stopped and everything. Seldom happens in my case. I torture myself over every sentence. Probably best advice is don't do that. Just write. To do the bits that you enjoy doing. Don't lose sleep over the bits that you don't enjoy doing. And then all the other advice, you know yourselves in books, like, you know, don't torture yourself over the position of commas and things like that. Just write. And write what you enjoy doing, write what you know, write what you want people to read.
Obviously the show's about World Book Day in particular. What are your views on World Book Day? Do you think it's beneficial for society?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, of all the media impact that, sorry, I put this wrong way around, but the amount of media that impacts on me, for me, reading is the major one. That's number one, and I think it should be others. You look at the standard of some of the writing that's out there. Isn't it sad that we look at the, I don't know, the Sun and the Mail, and we base our grammar, which is not actually wrong, of course, it is correct grammar, but the choice of words on this hard-hitting rubbish. And if we can possibly promote better quality reading, I mean, you read some of the classic novels like Dickens or whatever, you're kind of thinking that he must have found writing very easy. Because it just flows so easily. Thomas Hardy and things like, you know, really just read. And that's what we should all be doing.
Yeah, good, very good advice. I think that's very true. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the studio today, Colin.
Really, my pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks again, Colin White, for joining us. We also wanted an academic opinion on World Book Day, so we caught up with the university librarian, Roisin Guire.
I can't say that I noticed an awful lot happening around World Book Day, but that's probably because I spent my day here in the office rather than out in bookshops or public libraries, and I'm sure if I had young children that it might have made more of an impression on me. I think more could be made of it, but then I guess we have so many days for different things that sometimes there's a bit of an overload. There's always a day for something. I don't think it's got incredibly wide take-up in this country. Its origins were in Spain, where it was more about adults giving books to each other. I think men gave roses and women gave men books, and that's how it started. But in this country it's been very much about young people, and it's sponsored by book tokens, and so there's this £1 book token scheme which is very much aimed at young children. Well, this year, for the first time ever, we did something for World Book Day, and what happened was the university artist in residence, John Adams, came to see me, and we were talking, and he does a lot of work around the problems of reading and books for people with dyslexia, and he said that he had done something in Pallan's House Gallery in Chichester, which was a dangerous book exhibition, a tiny dangerous book exhibition, and that he could do that here for us. So we did this, and it took the format of a sort of coned off area with a dangerous book in the middle, and we just popped it on the floor in the library atrium, and I didn't tell anyone, I just told the staff there would be an impromptu display, so nobody knew apart from John and I what this was about. It was there for a few days, and during that day, on World Book Day, John came and sort of lurked around the library and watched people's reactions to the display. So that's the only thing we did. I don't think a lot of university libraries make a big thing around World Book Day. It's more public libraries. I'm trying to think about the Very Hungry Caterpillar as an e-book, and I'm not sure how that works, but I'm sure there'd be something that would work written specifically for the e-book reader that would be equally as exciting. But I do think there is something about the feel of paper or a book, and there's those lovely pop-up books and things that maybe, that's why I think there'll be both. I've read an e-book on my iPhone, but that wasn't, I would say, a very pleasant experience because the pages are too small, the screen's too small, and I had to turn over the page too quickly. And I think there's also something about, but that's perhaps because I've been brought up with print books, there's something about being able to see the whole, which you don't get with a reader. I mean, I like to see the chapters and, you know, the size of the book. But perhaps if you're used to digital from birth, you get that in a different way. We have a lot of e-books in the library, but they are sort of textbooks and things rather than your general sort of reading book. At the moment, because there isn't one e-book reader that will read everything, so I can't, for instance, buy an e-book reader for the library that could read everything because they're linked into bookshops or to Amazon or whatever. I think at the moment they haven't sort of reached a tipping point, but I'm really keen to get one. I haven't got one yet because I'm waiting for that to happen, but I think in future it will be a mixture of the two. I don't think paper books will ever go. I think they'll become maybe a bit more of a cult thing. And I think you already start to see that with, reissuing classic penguins and, the mugs with book covers on and things like that. But I can't see them ever really going. But I do think e-book readers are quite exciting. The electronic journals have changed libraries, so there'll be much more space for a start. And there are lots of advantages to e-books because more than one student can be reading them at a time. So I think that will be a change, but I still think there will be room for the print. But I guess we would start looking at perhaps loaning out e-book readers if they got down to a price that it would be worth buying them to students as well as loaning out books. So again, I think there'll be a mixture of both.
Some great opinions there, and more of an insight into how World Book Day affects universities. In the interview, Roisin Gwyer spoke for a lot about e-book readers. The crew here wanted a further look at how this new technology and to indulge in what could possibly replace all books in the future.
We went to the university library and asked students how effective the electronic journals are. Also, we looked at what e-book readers can do that is so much more useful than paper books. Take a look. There is an ongoing debate on whether e-book readers will replace the classic There is an ongoing debate on whether e-book readers will replace the classic paperback books. We have come up with some pros and cons of each. Paperback books offer multiple advantages like they are easily obtainable, bookstores are everywhere, they are easily portable, they do not cause significant eye strain, and they are cheap. The obvious cons of books are they are bulky and heavy, carrying more than 2 to 3 around can be a chore. If you make notes on them, it's difficult to erase, and you need a light source to read them, another thing you will have to carry around. E-books offer the following obvious advantages, assuming you have an e-book reader. They are easily readable, most readers offer zoom functions, letter resizing and so forth. They are easily portable, you can carry multiple books on one device. They are much more environmentally friendly, you don't have to kill a few trees for each book, and let's not even talk about the ink, recycling only goes so far. Note-taking is much more powerful, and the notes you write can be found and referenced quickly and easily, and they don't have to be permanent. Lighting conditions essentially become meaningless. Many readers incorporate display lighting, allowing you to read whenever and wherever you like. So, have you ever used an e-book reader?
Yes, I have. I've actually got one at home.
Oh. So do you use it for like referencing and things like that, or do you just use it to read books?
I kind of use it more just to read books, but if I had, because I'm an English literature student, if I had a book that I needed to reference, then it would be easy to do because they're a lot easier than using manual books, if that makes sense.
So do you feel that you'll like use them more than paperback books like in the future?
At the moment I read paperback books because the variety isn't as great to get electronic books, and obviously it's more fun just to read a book like you would, but and as well you have to pay for them as well, but I would use them more in the future.
So have you ever used an e-book reader?
No, I haven't.
Do you think that you'll use one in the future, or if they become more advertised and people knew what they were?
Maybe, but I probably wouldn't be able to afford one being a student.
So do you think you'll probably keep on using paperback books and probably won't ever touch an e-book reader?
Yeah, probably, because I prefer having a book to read rather than reading off a screen, and I heard that they hurt your eyes as well, so...
Okay.
So what do you think? Share your thoughts on any of the issues in today's show at our Facebook page. Just log in and search for Book Corner to find our page. You can see it up on the screen now.
Also, take a look at the World Book Day website, www.worldbookday.com, for more information on what happened around the world on Thursday, the 4th of March 2010.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for on today's show. Keep on reading, and we hope to see you soon. From me, Timmy Highland.
And me, Paige Penfold, and the rest of the crew, goodbye.